Hey, what's up, everybody? This right here is the first episode of Finalize, where respected basketball minds get together and we go a little in depth about the NBA Finals. I've been fortunate enough to be side by side with these two special coaches in their own right. And up top, we have Day. Lynda Day, y'all. And down bottom, we have GJ Kissal. And if you're from the DMV area, you know exactly um, who GJ Kissel uh, is, and that's the head coach at Good Counsel High School. Now, listen, y'all. I had a few questions, coaches. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
GJ, you still there?
Yep, yep.
Okay. Yeah, I have a few.
I'm here.
I have a question. Like with this finals, man. First, I'll be the first to say I'm proud that we even have the NBA finals because we didn't see this coming. You know, um, with the COVID, and things. But man, it's been great for me as an NBA fan in the bubble. I thought the positive was that no one had a advantage somewhat, throughout, any series. It was neutral the whole time, and I really loved that part of it, right? So, starting off with Lynda, I just want to get what do you feel like the Miami Heat has to do to get it done, and also share with us what do you feel like the Lakers have to do if they're going to be the ones to get it done?
I think it really comes down to the team that really plays like a team. I think Miami really showed that they're more than one weapon. Some nights Butler goes off, some nights he's silent. You have Herro coming out of nowhere. You have a bunch of players who no one ever expected anything out of, who are really just playing at the top of their game. To me, the Lakers, I am not the biggest LeBron fan at all. Go Jordan. I do really, truly believe that it really is all about Anthony Davis and all that surrounding support. I think Rondo has been huge for them. I think that was the biggest difference maker for them. When Davis and LeBron try to do way too much,
Yeah,
they're not as successful. When they share the ball, good things happen.
very good point. Coach GJ, who has to do what on the Lakers team and how, as well as Miami to come out on top? How does this work to you?
Well, first I want to say definitely, Coach made some great points, and I agree with you, Darnell, that this has been, some of the most compelling basketball I've watched, at the NBA level, in recent years, because whatever it is, they got it right. They got it right, and it's almost got like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost got that like NCAA vibe to it.
Yeah,
Just kind of, it's just basketball. It's not the show. It's just basketball, and that endeared itself to me a great deal. So I've really enjoyed it. To your question, I just think that the size and interior presence that the Lakers possess is very, very dangerous for the Heat. Okay, I think that they can just impose physically their will in a way that Bam's gonna battle, and everybody loves Bam, right? Like he's a guy that just all of us would love to have playing for us, right? But that whole team, that Miami team, is built with those kind of tough-minded guys that maybe are under the radar a little bit, right?
yeah,
But at some point, I just feel like if the Lakers are able to establish that presence in the paint, getting their paint touches, getting their, if you look at that shot chart, and there's a lot of green checks around the basket, I think that the Lakers, are going to have a significant advantage. On the flip side, Miami, if they can continue to play that zone and that they played against Boston, and if they can lull the Lakers into just settling for being jump shooters, and they make it a jump shooting contest, I think Miami has a decided advantage then, granted that they stay hot like they've been. And that's why, using the NCAA kind of comparison, I feel like this series, if this was an NCAA tournament game, wow, what a compelling thing, and a lot of people would go with the hot shooting team, just because they're on fire. But over a 7-game series, if the Lakers can impose their physicality and get those points in the paint, I think it's going to be tough.
Great point, coaches. Lynda, I want to apologize too about my introduction because I didn't mention that you're the head coach of John Jay School of Criminal Justice. So that's a huge accomplishment, and I apologize that wasn't right.
No worries at all.
But definitely respected. And back to you, Coach Day. There's many storylines, to this NBA Finals. If LeBron James and the Lakers conquer, and get this done, right, he would be, I want to say, the first, and anybody correct me if I'm wrong, the first to actually lead 3 different franchises to a title.
I'm not sure if he would be the first.
Yeah, there's been many that, well, I wouldn't say many, but there's been a good number of guys
that have won on 3, yeah.
Like Robert Horry
is the one that came to mind, yeah.
Yeah,
but he wasn't the leader of the group.
Wasn't the leader. I want to say LeBron is the only one that would do it, if he does it, that actually led 3 different franchises to get it done. And if so, if that's true, I'm sorry, go ahead, Coach.
No, he might be. Like Coach made a point, many have. I don't know as far as being the star.
Yeah, as far as being a leader. And if so, and if that's true, and if it happens, Coach Day, how do you view LeBron? Far as all time, how do you view him if he gets this done?
I mean, I'm the diehard Jordan fan. I'm always, no matter what, people could.
Yeah.
I respect LeBron. I respect his athleticism. I think he has great God-given ability. I don't think he's as skilled as the Jordans, the Kobes, many other talented players. But he's very smart. He has extremely high IQ. Yeah. I think he does great with his status. Off the court, I think he's probably one of the best. It doesn't matter what anybody says to me. I'm still not gonna sit there and sing the praises.
Right.
I mean, I can't necessarily be mad. The whole losing of Kobe and everything. Lakers, Lakers Celtics would have been perfect, but the whole Lakers winning this year. I mean, right. I can't really be mad at that. That definitely would be special for the city of Lyfe.
Sure thing. What about you, Coach GJ?
I think it's not a fair question to ask people in our age demographic. It's just not fair. And the debate generally aligns itself along those, those of us that grew up with our eyes like this wide, watching this guy behind me, just do the magical things he did. So I think that LeBron is phenomenal. I think we're witnessing greatness. I would, gosh, if we could somehow get in a time machine and put the 2 of them at each other in their primes, how fun would that be to watch? But it's one of those things that I just think that Jordan's ability to win with consistency it's like the thing that overrules all arguments. But I mean, I firmly believe that LeBron is the second best player of all time. And I also think he's arguably the most physically dominant player, you know, in decade, maybe going back to Will, you know, is like the guy that's just so physically dominant. Maybe Shaq, okay, we could argue that. Yeah. But just so physically imposing that if he truly wants to do something, nobody can stop him from doing what he decides to do. And that's a unique piece. You know, maybe Zion gets there, but like those guys don't come through often, you know?
Very true. Very true.
Tough to compare eras too. Completely different style of game.
Yep.
Everything's a foul nowadays too.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Everything's getting reviewed a hit to the head. You got to be kidding me. Let's go back 20 years. These guys were practically fighting on the court and just told them to stop.
Yeah, you're right. It was a war. It was a war back then. Now look, Jimmy Butler, you know, his whole journey, right? If you really, because this season made me reflect on Jimmy Butler's whole journey. What have you learned about Jimmy Butler this year? Coach Day, let's start with you. What did you learn about Jimmy?
I mean, just sitting there and just the whole legitimately coming from nothing, like really like what he struggled with day by day and how hard it was and how he always got looked over. Everyone thought he was the problem. I think the Sixers are truly kicking themselves right now because he definitely wasn't the problem. To me, it's just that motor. He has to work so hard to be one of the best, and his mentality to me is just. I didn't think he was as mentally tough as he's proven this year.
That's great. Can you hear me? Coach G?
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, Jimmy Butler. What have you learned about Jimmy this year? Because I'm blown.
I mean, we're learning as we go. We're learning as we go, right? Like we're seeing things that are really endearing in all in terms of his ability to lead this young cast of guys and a maturity level on his part that was in question for a while, right? Mm-hmm. So like I don't know, you know, what's the real? What I'm seeing right now, I really like out of him, but the way he was portrayed in the past, you know, it makes you wonder, like, where's the truth in all this? But whatever it was, whether he was, you know, not a great teammate previously, whether he was destructive previously, and he matured, or maybe he got misportrayed, whichever it was, I like how he is now. You know, I like, and if he was a problem previously, I have a high level of respect for his ability to grow and to figure it out, so to speak, because, you know, these guys at this level, you know, they're still works in progress, you know. They're not the finished product at this point. So to see someone kind of reinvent themselves, it's refreshing to watch.
Very, very refreshing.
Yeah. And he's got to be some kind of salesman selling coffee for $20 a cup in the bubble.
Yeah.
So,
amen to that. Amen to that.
He really got my attention when he made the statement, or the story came out one way or another. I found out about it, but his family wanted to come out when they started to allow family to come out, and I heard that he told his family to stay home. He's on a business trip. Said, man, I can't wait to see this guy in the finals, you know. I
think he's one of the few people that has the experience, the physical profile, the determination to somewhat offset or negate what LeBron brings to the table. It's just, can he do it for 7 games or whatever, how many games it takes him to win? Can he do it for
tough to
40,
win 4?
Right, for 42 minutes a game? Like, can he do that? Does he wear down? But he's the candidate to do it. You know, he's the guy.
For sure. I think he's what stands out about Jimmy mostly to me is the leadership. I just think he's a stone cold leader. I don't think he's as talented as a LeBron or Kawhi Leonard or any of those guys, but I think his leadership, and he's fearless, competitive. I think that's what's pushing this group. And speaking of Miami, you know, what can you say about the rookie campaign that Tyler Herro was having? Coach Day, can you start us off with this one?
He's got some confidence about him. You know, I saw it might have been yesterday. I think it was on ESPN on Instagram, of how they were showing the fan when he was drafted, and they're like, "Who is this guy?" You know, it was a wasted pick, but I think he really is that true collection of players that, you know, came in with a chip on his shoulder and really used the time during quarantine to really refocus and really make a run for it. You know, he's very, very confident, and he's very appreciative. You just hear the way that he speaks about Jimmy Butler all the time, of how being a big brother to him.
Definitely. Coach Kissal, what do you think about this rookie campaign of Tyler Herro?
Well, I think Coach said it well, and I just think that, you know, and this relates to what we were just talking about with the Jimmy Butler thing too, is just, to me, you know, Coach, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I'm guessing a long time as well, by the wisdom in your words. But, you know, in this game, you know, players go through peaks and valleys and moments when it clicks and when it's not clicking. And so, like, this kid figured something out. Clearly something clicked for him. Now, where that click came from, whether, you know, he speaks about it coming from Jimmy Butler, then that, you know, the timing was right for him to elevate. And you know, and the other piece of it is, you know, no matter what you say, the ability to shoot the basketball with consistency from the perimeter is a skill that will never diminish in this game, you know. And if you can shoot the ball with consistency, it opens the floor for guys to then showcase other things. And he's got some stuff in his game, and he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch. He's got some junk in there, you know, and he's got that swagger, like the kids like to say. He definitely, he does not lack for confidence, and so you can get behind a kid like that.
Called himself a bucket. I mean,
yeah.
He was.
And going a little, and I thought about this. Actually, my son brought this up today. He said, man, there's 3 Kentucky guys in the finals. You know, you got AD, you have Herro, as we spoke of, and Bam. And how much credit would you give Calipari for preparation with not only, of course, we know the story of the other guys, a lot of his guys, if you want to call them his guys, you know, depending on how you view it, right? But how much credit do we give Calipari for preparing these guys for this level? So
well, I think he should get a lot. Just considering, you know, he doesn't have them for very long. Sure. For the most part, most of them are one and done. I mean, that seems to be the trend. You know, they're only going to college because they kind of have to. Yeah. But I really do think that, you know, just hearing the way that they speak about Coach after 1 year does say a lot. You know, Kentucky may not win the national championships, and everyone feels like they should with the talent that they have. Right. But their players are very successful in the league.
True, very successful.
It's one of those things. It's one of those things. I think he deserves a good amount of credit. I agree with you, Coach. But the one thing is, like, that I sometimes get hung up on is like, is it the chicken or is it the egg? You know, is it like, is it, you know, I mean, he's getting guys that have a pedigree coming out of high school. You know, he's getting the best of the best.
Sure.
And now what I think he really deserves credit for is not it almost, I don't know how much credit I give him of the stuff from here, from the neck down. I don't know that I give him a ton of credit for that. But what I do give him credit for is the stuff from the neck up in terms of getting it. Because he does a great job as a salesman getting a whole bunch of alphas to sacrifice for the greater good. And I think that may be the piece that really helps prep these guys for the next level, because when they get to the league, you know, they're no longer the alphas, right? They're, a good deal of them are good players in the league, but how many of them are actually the alpha male on that team, or, you know, the leader on that team? Maybe, I mean, even AD's not now, right? He was in New Orleans, but he's not now. So I think he starts the education process of these guys understanding is bigger than just them if they want to win at the highest level. And that's where that neck up stuff is where I think he really, really helps them.
Great point, Coach. Man, this guy right here, man, that I got to ask you guys about. You know, this guy been around for a while, and he was a champion before, kind of faded away, a lot of injuries and things, and been moved around. Rajon Rondo, or as they call him, Playoff Rondo at this point. Is Playoff Rondo, Rajon Rondo, is he a Hall of Famer when this is all said and done? Coach Day.
I think you almost have to. You have to put him in the conversation, just because he's won. You know, he's stepped up at some of the biggest levels. We've had many players who've never gotten to a finals who are in the Hall of Fame. We have a lot of players who go down as some of the greatest players who never won a ring. The Patrick Ewings, the Barkleys, the Stockton Malones. We all say that they're great. They never won. Rondo has won. And I really do think that – I think LA would have been in a lot of trouble if Rondo didn't come back.
Good point, Coach.
To me, I think if he wins, if they win, I think it's a powerful debate. I think, you know, he's one of those guys that is, you know, what do you measure Hall of Fame on? You know, are you a stats person, or are you a win shares, like the guy that helps teams win, like, you know, and so I just feel like if they win, it's a powerful combination that he has with the amount of times he's been there and contributed to winning, to go along with his stretch of statistical impact. But he's really good. And when he's playing the right way, he's fun to watch, man. He really is. He goes through those stretches where he gets outside himself. You know, I get mad at my son because he plays 2K and he's got Rondo and he keeps pulling up with Rondo. I'm like, stop letting him shoot. Stop letting him shoot. You
pass
know?
The ball.
Yeah, just pass the ball.
Right.
But when he plays in his lane, he's fun to watch, man.
True thing. I really believe if he gets it done as well, I don't think it's a debate if he gets it done. I think he got to be a Hall of Famer, because to me, a Hall of Famer is a guy that repeatedly comes up big in big moments. And I think if they get it done, Rondo is solidified in that category.
Mm-hmm. He very well may be, yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, of course, coaches. Your predictions. Who's going to come out on top, Coach Day?
I could see Lakers in five, maybe six. If that, I think that first game is going to be key. If LA blows them out and the Heat don't come back and win game two, it's over. I do think that I just don't think that they can, like Coach mentioned before, their size kills them.
Yeah.
The Lakers tend to get the benefit of the doubt, get into the free throw line, and when they knock down free throws, it's very, very hard. And experience, it comes down to it too. As much as, Butler does have a lot of experience, first finals. So like anything else, you're going to have some jitters. If you're looking at a battle of the coaches, you can't count out Miami. I think Coach can finally get some of the recognition that he deserves. I do think that if anything, that's a little extra special going against LeBron. I just want to keep seeing live basketball because we ain't gonna be seeing any for a while. So I mean, I would love to see an extended series, but I'm probably gonna say like Lakers in 6.
That's fair. That's fair, Coach Day. Coach Kissal, who's going to get it done?
Man, like I said earlier, God, I would love to see this as an NCAA tournament game because it could be fun to watch.
For sure.
I just think, it would be fun because a hot shooting team can do wonders in that tournament. I think it's going to be interesting to see the effectiveness if Miami sticks with this zone and its effectiveness and ability to steal an early game if the Lakers fall into the trap of just getting into that jump shooting contest. Because the will and the determination that Miami has and the way they played, I mean, we all love watching the Heat play, right? They play the right way. They play together. They share. It was really fun to watch. So I think if they can impose that tempo that they're trying to get early in the series and steal a game or two, then it could get interesting. But I just think they're just overmatched. And at some point, there's enough basketball IQ on the Lakers that at some point they're just going to start pounding it and dissecting that zone and start, get Bam in foul trouble. And then where do they go? And, it's one of those things. So I'm going to lean where Coach was. I'm going to say the Lakers in 6. But golly, I hope that, I would love this thing to stretch out and be exciting down the stretch. It would be fun because we all need our fix right now, our hoops fix.
Indeed. Yeah, definitely. I think 6 would be great. I don't see any blowout games coming to us. I think it's going to be a very, very entertaining finals, and I'm anxious for tomorrow night. Coaches, I want to appreciate the both of you for your time and getting on the show. FINALIZE is a very exciting idea that came about. Just being a fan of the game. Had my coaching days as well. I'm coaching in other areas these days. But I definitely enjoyed the time speaking on this NBA Finals with the both of you.
Well, appreciate you having us on. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Indeed. Listen, y'all, this is FINALIZE, and I'm your host, Darnell Oaks. Please come check us out, Game 2.